Welcome, readers, viewers, and listeners, to our maiden new setup at One Ghana, One Voice magazine. For our maiden interview, we have Mr. Elikplim Akorli, a rising Ghanaian writer, poet, and spoken word artist. I have the singular honor of interviewing Mr. Akorli. My name is Prince K. Mensah, editor-in-chief of the magazine. Thank you so much for accepting to be our first guest, Mr. Akorli.
Yeah, thank you, Prince Mensah. Thank you so much.
No problem. Well, the question now is, who is Elikplim Akorli?
To answer to that, I think I'm easy going down to it, but I'm very observant. I take note of what's happening around me, and so that is just a general sum of me. But I work as an accountant at a consumer and accountant general department. And I do part-time studies with Ghana Institute of Public Administration, MBA and HR.
Well, talking about HR, we get this poet's knack for observing human nature. I guess that will help you in your pursuit of the HR degree.
Yeah. I think so. That was what actually informed the decision. Like looking at the background of the course and what I'm actually into. I think if I'm able to put these two together, it will give me a better skill to get my message across and to relate to people better, bring out the best out of people.
Perfect. And out of curiosity, what made an accountant, a guy who deals with numbers, what made an accountant interested in poetry, in writing? Just tell me the process.
Well, at the time I started getting involved with poetry, I wasn't an accountant. Well, it's not something I really love to do, like to be being an accountant. I actually have passion for wordplay, poetry, and all that. But I need to survive, I need to live. And as of now, I'm not making so much of money with the arts, so I need a backup job, full-time job that can help me stabilize. And when I'm able to stabilize myself, making the best I can with the art, then probably I could step out and get on with my artistic inclinations and make the best out of it. So being an accountant is just to make do with a period.
I can relate to that. I mean, I know a lot of writers, poets, and a lot of creative guys who have to go out there and do a job they really maybe do not love, and just to make ends meet. So I can relate to that. I'm actually in that myself. Well, Elikplim, tell us what makes you write the way you write, because when I went through your spoken word pieces on SoundCloud and I read the submissions you made to One Ghana, One Voice, I realized this precision with your poetry. You do not mince words. So can you kind of help us understand the way you write?
Oh, no, right. It's purely inspiration, intuitive. Most of the time I'm listening to myself, see what sort of signal I can pick from my environment, and being able to communicate that across to people. And it's not just limited to my environment, but in a universal way. I speak on universal themes that most people can be able to relate to these things. And so poetry, it's psychological. It's a mental effort, but there's a lot of other things that goes into its consideration. And I think a piece of writing without emotion is basically dead. So I try my best to put life to the things I write, and so that when other people read them or see me perform, they'll be able to relate. They can have a catch-up moment with something, and they can also translate that into their personal experiences and keeping the flow. So basically, that is what informs my writing. First of all, I'm very intuitive. I am observant as well, and if I see something that is not happening, going on wrong in my society, the way it's supposed to go, the way I think it should be with regards to the human condition, I would talk about it in my writing, and I hope that this
I think that's fair because you pretty much are a reflection of your society. All writers are, and sometimes it's difficult when the things are not going the way you envision them to go. And based on that sentiment, where do you see your writing going from here? I mean, what do you want to do with your writing? Do you want it to be a local endeavor, or do you want it to go out into the world?
I can be a local. I can't restrict it to my present environment. It's global. It should be global. It should be global. That's why I write on universal themes that people from all over the world can relate to it. If you read my piece of writing, there's so much of spirit, there's so much of thought, there's so much of emotion to the things I write, and so based on that level, I think people will be able to relate if they make the effort. So yeah, I see myself, all my writings international. I have a book out. I published a book in 2013. I launched it in 2013, and it's doing quite well. And if you look at the book, I collaborated with a Japanese friend of mine, so there are some other writings that have been translated into Japanese. So I'm just not looking at my present environment, but I'm looking at transcending, getting my message across. And so, yes, not just the immediate environment, but further.
And actually, that leads me to my next question because when I speak to a lot of Ghanaian writers and poets, I see that they want to go outside, which is not a bad thing. Is it because of the state of Ghanaian poetry, and in the sense that Ghanaians do not patronize their own poetry, and it's difficult to be a creative person? Is it the environment that is making creative people look outside their own countries? Can you shed light on that for me?
I cannot say that is not exactly the case, because there are people here who, apart from writing for the page, there are people who write for the stage, and most of us are friends who perform in Ghanaian languages, Chi, in Ga, in Ebe. So this might not actually be for the international audience, because these people are trying to communicate or channel messages to the people around them and to get things happening right. So if that's the case, it's not. I would say that it's not basically that most Ghanaian poets would want to just to get international. But people are said now, young folks right now, I'm speaking for my generation, they write for a purpose. They are writing for a purpose. So first of all, you have to stick to your environment, make some corrections over there, and if while you're doing all that, you happen to get out there globally, yeah, that's okay. But I'm again going to cite an example. That I have this friend, AJ, but his style of writing is also of the Ghanaian environment, because he writes high. Alright, he taps elements from the Ghanaian society, and he's able to channel his message across. So in this sense, we as artists are picking up elements and making use of it with our people intimately, and then external appeal, or let's say internationally also, because if you're writing and your writing is very good, people would want to get to know you, would want to get to know what it is exactly you're talking about. So on that level, you blow up, and it's a journey, it's a process. We are all hoping to get there. Ghana, it's a country of about 25 million people. I don't think anybody right now would want to limit his writing to that sort of population. The world is networked with technology as of now, and you can reach people anywhere, anytime. So yeah, not just looking at the environment, but Africa, West Africa, and probably the whole world. It's time to dream big, especially in this age. It's dreaming big. We can step onto any platform. So yeah, we have to be ready at the point in time. So we are locally made, but globally we are citizens of this planet. So we look beyond. I think I am looking beyond, and I have faith that some other Ghanaians or friends of mine who are poets are also looking beyond, not just the environment. Aside that, even people who do poetry in local languages, I believe it's sound, the power of sound, the magic of sound can be transmitted to people through so many mediums. People can relate to these things. And yeah, people sing in different languages that some other people might not be able to understand, but they get to appreciate it. So if you're looking at poetry on that level, there are different levels of appreciation, I think. So based on that, the doorway is open. Whoever wants to walk just have to make a decision. With that, everything else is possible.
And I totally concur with you, because yeah, I think each poet has a journey they have to take, and as you rightly put it, there are some who invert their creativity to suit the local population, and there are some who open it up so it would be universal, like you. So I definitely think it's a personal journey, and I totally agree with your point on that. Talking about your poetry, when I was reading this particular poem, Unbroken Desire, I mean, it's a very, very, very haunting poem. Was it based on a real event or an imagined one?
We pick information from the environment, so it's as a result of things I've been able to pick all over the years, like for some years now. So the pieces of real events, and yeah, real events put together, but it's not happening at one particular place. So I look at all these things and I look at the theme, how greedy people are right now. You know, like the Ghanaians are like right now. There's corruption in this country and it's rising so fast. And so I try to put words to these things, and that if you read these things like this particular poem, like you give it time, you reflect, you can actually see that it depicts the condition like in a Ghanaian society. And I don't think corruption is actually just a thing of Ghanaian society, but this is where I find myself. So internationally, people have their challenges. So yeah, the corruption plagues the social fabric nationally too. So I pick up these evidence, real events, and I look at it, and I try to put it to a good thing and bring out something to life. Like you read it, you relate to it.
So, still dwelling on Unbroken Desire, you are comparing somebody in a state of corruption to somebody who is drowning, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. So let's say the point talks about Sado. Sado could be anybody who he has had on. There's a way I put it in the poem, and you know he's gotten onto this raft at sea, and all that happens. Somewhere along the line, he's lost at sea and he drowns, but fisher folks find him on sea, and they make some rituals. But after he had been nibbled wildly by his body had been nibbled wildly by fishes, so he was peeled white. Yeah, that being the case, most people right now are not actually living their lives based on the real virtue right now. But most people have actually lost the goal of life. So people just are hungry for money, but money is not a means to an end. Or it's not an end in itself. It's a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. Let me put it this way. That being the case, it's about the decisions we make that brings the best of us whilst we fight for money or to do the things we want to do with money. But money in itself doesn't give us happiness. It's about how we get the money that makes us happy. And even after you've gotten the money, there's a way of looking at things. And I don't think most people have thought about society and the decisions they are making this way. And so we are making wrong decisions, and we are supposed to be learning from the past. Decisions our forefathers have made, or the world at large. And you know, learn from these things and reset ourselves, our values, and be the best. I think after right now, is a new world, and if we can only tap into our virtues, our values, our heritage, and bring the best out of ourselves, because these things get to bring our potentials to bear, values and virtues. And so if you can look at things this way, then you have a very bright future. But if not so, the opportunity would come and you would lose it. So I'm just talking about all that in some short lines, and at least in some short lines. But I'm sure if anybody else gets put some thoughts to it, it will be fine. Apart from that, I made mention of ritual. Corruption right now is sort of ritualistic. It's happening every day, every time. When you even least expect it. I'm sure you have heard of our judges who supposedly some judges have been caught on tape taking bribes from a particular investigative journalist. And so it's all around us. It's not just after the judiciary. It's all around us. That's how plagued we are society with this canker called corruption. So the Bible talks about a lot of things. It's a lot of things. But I try to put traditional elements to it so that I give it identity. Yeah, so that's it. Broken design.
So definitely, I'm still absorbing the wisdom you just passed on, because yes, I never even thought about it that way, but you are right on the money, because a state of corruption is like a state of drowning, and you are game for all the elements. The sea can kill you, the wind can kill you, and anything, the fish can even kill you. So I really, wow, I have to read this poem again, because you just shed light on the layers of meanings in that poem. And talking about corruption, another poem actually is blunt about it. I think the poem is The Clang. And in The Clang, you said something that was very powerful. You said you want the truth to fall like hammer on an anvil. In the light of these candles, do you still prescribe the truth to be like a hammer, or do you think a different approach would be better?
I think the truth is the hammer on the anvil. The truth is the hammer on the anvil. Looking at the sort of how society responded to the information that the journalist brought to light recently, and as Ayemeya and us, that's the truth. And if you look at how people were talking about the whole thing in general, the judges, some were even making efforts to sue the venue that this guy who had wanted to air the movie, and so that things do not come to light. But the truth is an anvil, the hammer on the anvil, and part of what you do, people might not give it so much of importance, but just see the sort of conflict it brings when someone tries to speak the truth. It could be just something small, but no matter how big you are, just a little bit of truth hitting at you, brings out like the worst of you and the best of you. So truth is a hammer on the anvil, I think, and we need a lot of it in our society as of now. No matter how small it is light. It is light, so if you can keep telling more of the truth and doing good works, I think our society will get better. Apart from it, saying the truth and making it be a hammer on the anvil by itself, there are supposed to be systems in place that should make things work for us. So apart from, if you just keep saying the truth or speaking the truth, all of those things will come to light, because systems are in place. So if you can just keep having discourses, being honest about it, I think the best of us will come to light. That's what I think. It's hammer on the anvil, truth. Yeah. Talking about the judges. Yeah, talking about these judges. These are people who. Yeah, talking about these judges. I'm dwelling on the case of the judges. These are people who are held in high esteem in society, and sometimes are placed next to God. Look at these big men, and they've been broken down just as a result of truth coming to light to the whole public.
Yep.
So it's a big hammer, no matter how big you think you are, if the truth is spoken about you. Whereas whereas you find yourself in the wrong act and your truth comes to light, you are broken from within. So it's a big hammer on the anvil, irrespective of who you.
Yeah, I was asking that as a writer, poet, and spoken word artist, which one field has the most traction creatively and commercially, and which one has the least traction?
Writer, spoken word artist, and poet.
Yeah, and poet. Yep.
Well, I think it's all about. Yeah, I think it's all about how you carry yourself out there. I didn't hear the question properly. Did you say traction?
Sure, I can ask again. I said you work in basically three fields of creative writing, and which one do you get the most response out of? And I mean, do people respond well to you as a writer, or to you as a poet, or to you as a spoken word artist? And as a creator, which one gives you the most satisfaction?
I write. When you write, you can reach out to a lot of people all at the same time, because like look at the sort of medium we have now, taking technology into consideration. If I put up a piece of writing on my blog, I'm likely to have a lot of readers reading. But if I want to speak to a group of people, probably I could still record my stuff, put it on YouTube or SoundCloud, and it would still reach out to people. It just depends on the sort of medium. It depends on the medium I decide to use based on how I feel and how to reach out to my people. However, I talk to people every day. Creatively, I speak, and I'm able to communicate. So I think we all I get on well with like just of them. And almost every day I write something. Just I don't get to share them like often, but I put up some short quotes on Facebook and some other pieces of writing that could provoke other people to think and to look at things in different ways. So it's all about the medium. It's how you master that medium. If you master it very well, then you're likely to come across in a very good way to many people and well accepted, whether you are speaking, you are writing, or you are doing some other sort of creative work. It's all about your level of mastery. And so far for the three, I think I have some good mastery over it.
Okay.
Since I published the book and I've been able to sell some copies, a good number of copies, and a good number of copies. I have some words online. I get good responses from all this through all these mediums. So yeah, it's all about the level of mastery and how you're able to communicate to the people through that medium. I think that's what I think about it. I'm most comfortable with the three of them. We just were like what you just said. I'm comfortable.
And quick question, Elikplim.
Hello?
Yeah, quick question. In Dreams, your poem Dreams, you talk about impregnating a generation. What kind of seeds do you intend to pass on to your generation and the one that is coming afterwards?
For me, honesty is supreme for me. If I'm honest in communication, then you get to know me probably on a personal level or whatever it is I'm about. So if you decide to associate yourself with me, you know what it is you are in for. So in that level of transparency, yeah. So I think I'm transparent as much as possible. So if my society can be transparent, things will be better. Just like water. If water is muddy, it's dirty, you can't drink it. But if it's clear, you can have a good drink and you work the body out well. So that level of transparency. And apart from transparency, speaking the truth and upholding it, it's not just speaking it, but upholding it, standing up for it, is the only way forward. But I try to do this in a very creative way. and that by the time you would have discovered what it is I'm actually about, even with these poems, would have sparked up something positive in you. So on that level, I put it to picture imagery and some rhythm. I make use of all these things. So this is what I would stand for, and having peace. I put up a poem for a UN Peace Poetry Contest in 2011. I happened to come out as one of the top 10 winners, and it was for peace. And peace is one thing I believe in. If society will develop, if humanity will go to the next phase of development, then I think we need peaceful cohabitation. And so this is one thing I would stand for. I would stand for honesty, transparency, and peace. So if we can cohabit, we can tolerate ourselves, then we can dwell on our very values and pick up lessons all around us and be better human beings.
I'm really impressed because these are definitely seeds that any society that is serious about its development, that those are seeds that are essential for such a society. And this is just a fun question, Ellie. If there is or was an African poet that you get a chance to meet, who would that be and why?
Why? Who would that be and why? First of all, when I got into poetry, it was as a result of me reading works of African poets. I read some of the works of John Pepper Clark.
Mm-hmm.
I read Kofi Anyido. I read Kofi Awuno, who we lost as a result of the Kenyan incident some years ago, like about 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
If I should have the opportunity, I would like to meet Kofi Awuno all over again, have a one-on-one chat with him and get into his mind. I love some of his works, and maybe in the near future I might want to write commentaries on some of the things he's put out. I would like to do something like that in the coming years. I love Kofi Awuno's writings. I'd like to meet him if I have an opportunity. I read his works, his poems. It's really rich. It carries tradition, but aside it carrying tradition, giving confidence to the African, it talks about issues like you can all relate with as human beings, relatedness. Some of his works. He's deep. I think the guy is really deep. I don't know, but speaking for myself, maybe for the first time you pick up some of his works, you might not. I'm not talking about poems, but his other writings, essays, and so many of the other things he's written, you might not be able to appreciate it, but if you have some sort of time to read and pay a little bit of attention to it, it actually speaks volumes. And so I would like to see it with Kofi Awuno, if I should have the opportunity, get into his mind and see what inspires him, what makes him who he is, and why he stood for what the things he stood for while he was alive, and all that. I'd like to get to know him better. I had the opportunity of meeting him, but not direct. I was at the Association of Ghana Writers some few years ago, I think 2 or 3 years back, and he addressed the association, and he had a lot of things to say. So, yeah, a lot of things to say, which were quite very important, and I think it was deep. The things he said were deep, and I don't think that I could just break all of those things down by myself, but having an intimate chat with him would bring a lot of things to light, and I'll be able to have a better grasp of it. So for me, if I should have the opportunity of meeting one of these great African writers, it would be Kofi Awuno.
Well, and based on your impressions of Kofi Awuno, what, comparing his kind of poetry and the success that he had as a writer, as an essayist, and as a poet, what are your expectations for Ghanaian writing? Because there seems to be a disconnect between the the successes that poets like Kwesi Brew, Awono, Anidoho, Clark, all those guys, they experience remarkable success with their poetry. But it seems like our generation is struggling. What are your expectations for Ghanaian writing on a whole?
Well, writing for this generation, I think most of us got into it. Like we stumbled onto this medium and there's still so much for us to do. And the disconnect you are talking about, these guys you're talking about, the mention of people who era at the time the happenings, things that were happening in the society on the whole African continent and maybe the whole world at large influenced the way of writing. For me, some of these guys you mentioned are like people of tradition. They try to give meanings to our tradition, how important it is to us as a people, our identity. And right now, for me, psychologically, I think people are fighting between religions. They are trying to, religion has gotten so many people confused as at now. And to a point, people will come to appreciate traditional African religion and the role it would play or could have religious plurality, and that you can pick from all these religions and make good sense out of it. So I'm just making reference to some of the things of Kofi Awuno. So right now, I think if the right card is played, most of the people in this, black people in this, their cultures and pick a lot of information with that oral tradition. Because I believe that once you are able to identify yourself with where you are coming from, when you are accepted in that particular society, the whole nation gives acclamation to you. And when that is done, you have the confidence and the authority to carry across the messages you have to deliver to humanity. And I think poets are not only limited to particular societies, but they speak for humanity. So, yeah, there's still a lot of work to do. There used to be a phrase some years back that if you want to hide something from a Ghanaian, you should put it in a book. I don't think it is the same any longer, because right now there are lots of Ghanaians who are reading, and it's going to amaze the sort of things Ghanaians read these days. Though I think we still have some catching up to do. There's still some more work to do. The future is bright. People are making efforts, and not because government has put in measures to make them read, but it's a global world right now. Technology has gotten things very closed up, and as a result of that, if you want to read something, it will be so easy to read, access to books and all that. So people are making efforts. I think the future is very bright for the young people who get into writing, poetry, whatever form of writing it is. It's bright if we keep up with self-belief, connecting to societies where we come from and rediscovering ourselves. The future is bright. I think the future lies in rediscovery of who we are as a people. Because if you don't know who you are, you cannot take a stand. So we should be able to rediscover ourselves in relation to the things around us. And if one is able to do that, one has power. And if one has power, then one can express this. So that is what I think.
And I really appreciate that, because the key word here, as you repeated very eloquently, is rediscovery. And I think if poets and writers and anybody in the creative field in Ghana or in Africa for that matter can rediscover what made our forebears great, I think there is a huge potential for all of us. And I really do appreciate you bringing that up. And talking about your poems, there's this poem, Events. It's a very beautiful poem. I personally like it. I mean, that's my best poem among the poems that you sent my way. In Events, you have a beautiful line which says, revealing puzzles of unanswered questions. Can you elaborate on that line?
I'll be glad if you can point, maybe you can read that stanza, the stanza or the whole
No problem. I have the poem here. It says, um, sipping on some rose wine with a touch of purple gloves and a glow, I wink as ticks of events unfold, clouds dissolving into each other, of patterned gates of a smile, revealing puzzles of unanswered questions.
That in itself is sort of trying to define. We're trying to define the future, looking into the things that. Okay, actually, when I wrote this poem, I was at the beach. I was at the beach and I had a bottle of wine all to myself in the company of a good friend, and we're having a good chat. But while having a chat, I found myself in my own zone as well. So I had the opportunity of looking at the clouds, the wind, the sea, the roaring and all that. So, all these elements speaks to us in a very interesting way. But if you don't pay attention, you might not be able to pick up the messages they communicate to us. Because human beings are products of their environment. We should be able to relate to the environment. And so, puzzles of unanswered questions for me in that particular moment is something of a divination. I don't know if I should categorically what's in there, what's in there for me, but I think I should just leave it unanswered. I'm going to give a particular answer to that particular that side of it, and people might be able to relate to it in their own ways or based on their own experiences. But for me, I found myself in a very good mood. I had a bottle of wine on the beachside. I was in a corner of a good friend. We're having good chat, and the clouds were just wind changing, winds were blowing, the sea was roaring, and I happened to have engaged all of my senses in that particular moment. So it's a defining moment, and I think if I found myself in that sort of defining moment, the moment of divination. So for me, that's the power of poetry, the power of words, the power of being a human. So for me, that's what that particular stanza communicates to me, and I just try to share it with people out there. Maybe people out there could find their own way of relating to that particular stanza or the poem as a whole. I think you also have your own way of relating to it. I might write something and it would mean something else to me, but for another person it would mean something else. And that's why we have critiques, commentaries, and all that for poetry and other forms of writing. And I leave it out to the public for them to relate. They should criticize it or critique it and write their commentaries, share them. Yeah, that's it. That's what the piece means for me.
And you in your answer you brought up something very important, literary criticism. Do you think we have it in Ghana? Do we have it? Is it a strong art form, or we don't, and it's not helping?
To a large extent, Ghanaians are very they are conservative. For me, that's what I think. That's my view. Anybody else could challenge it. Ghanaians are conservatives. As much as possible, they are very sensitive people. And so for the younger generation right now, most people are very sensitive. If you critique their works in a light that they do not like, it doesn't really appeal to them. They could get offended. But I think great writing is made of good criticism. That is what I think. I've also gone through it. I've had people critique my pieces, and yeah, it has just brought out the best in me. And I think there's still much work for me to do. Sometimes you might not like it, but if you listen to the views of other people with regards to the things you see about your writing, you are likely to grow up. And saying that looking at it as if it is a strong art form in Ghana right now, I wouldn't say yes. Looking at the terrain, I don't think most people are really doing good critiques. Some do not want to do it at all, not because they can't do it, but because of how people are. But if you ask the views of these people, these well-meaning people who do not actually seek to hurt, but seek to improving the arts of people, then you seek their views. They are blunt to an extent, but they suggest other means or ways through which you can build up your style of writing. And yeah, but for an art form, it's not really strong here, and I think it should be something for us to consider. I was discussing with a friend of mine some weeks ago that he does really good criticism, and that if he could pick up that art form, it would help the society as much as possible. But he turned me down, saying that most of our people are very sensitive, that if someone seeks his view, he would critique, if not, no. So criticism right now is done on a professional level. People, let's say I'm putting out a book or have a piece of writing, I want someone else to look at it. And based on let's say I want to publish it in a magazine or like a book, then I might get a view of a critique. If this person would give me his views, what he thinks or feels about my style of writing or the sort of things I've been able to put out there. And it's all the things, or like it's good because it reflects you. It reflects you if you're right. You begin to see from the perspective of other people what they like. What they think of your work. And I think it's a positive thing. That's the best I can say to it. But for right now, it's not really developed here. There's so much work to be done in that light.
And I agree. I asked that question because I think I see a lot of talents in Ghana, and as you rightly said, we have to get past the point where we are too sensitive, because I think one poet, I've forgotten the name, mentioned that whenever you create a poem or you write a book or you do a spoken word piece, it becomes an entity that is outside you, and you should allow it to grow into its own identity. You should allow people to criticize it. And you're right, criticism is like, I'm going to use your own lines, criticism sometimes is like hammer on an anvil. You need to expose your pieces to criticism in order to get the better form. So yes, we need that. But having said that, it's a problem or people shy away from it. What would be your recommendation to anybody out there inside Ghana or outside who would want to critique Ghanaian or African poetry or writings, for that matter?
Yeah.
Hello. Yeah, hello. Did you hear the question? Yeah.
I didn't hear the last bit of what you said. Can you hear?
Sure. Sure. I would say, you know how a lot of hello. You know how a lot of non-Africans have critiqued African works, and I see that the native literary critics are afraid to do anything. What will be your advice to the native literary critic as to how to approach this very important part of literature?
Okay. Well, my advice actually is that a piece of writing is a seed. If you sow a seed with attachment, there is no way it would grow, because you have to detach yourself from the seed to get it, to sink it into the earth and give it some time to grow. And the earth takes it through some sort of process for the seed to grow. And so I would say to my people that they should let go of attachment so that their works can be critiqued. That's what I would say. I would say on this level, just let it go. It's a seed. Once you've sown it, just let it go and let people do all sort of things they want to do to it. If it is strong, if it has good potential, it would survive and it would bloom.
I think that would be the best advice I would get on literary criticism. And I think as we get to the end of our interview, I would want to elicit a response from you, Mr. Akorli, about anyone out there who is interested in writing. What would be your best advice to anyone out there who has never written before, never done a spoken word piece before. What is your advice to them?
What's my best advice? Well, just give it a try. It's always the first time for everything. For me, when I started writing, it was therapy for me. It was therapy. It was a way of me like relating to myself. So it's therapy. Just give it a try. Writing is therapy. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Give it a try, and you never know what will come out of it. You begin to see yourself in a new light, and you would get to know through writing that you are bigger than what you think you are, because you engage various aspects of your senses in some very delightful ways, you know. So writing is a beautiful thing. I would encourage people, whether they want to go into it commercially or just write for the fun of it. You know, you never can tell what you can make of your writing. So just give it a try. Anybody at all should give it a try. Whether it's spoken word or writing a piece of poem for the paper or for a book or something, or for a blog, you know, just give it a try. Give it a try. Give it a try. A try. That's all I can say.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Elikplim Akorli. I think you have really given us a ride into your beautiful imagination, and I really appreciate this time spent with you. To all our readers, listeners, and viewers, you can follow Mr. Akorli's poetry on SoundCloud. He goes by the name God of Poetry. And from the look of things, I do expect great things from Mr. Akorli. I would not be surprised if he wins the Nobel Prize for Literature. I would not be surprised if he wins a lot of laurels in writing. This man, this young man, Mr. Elikplim Akorli, is one of the reasons why I open my computer every morning to read poetry from Ghana. Ghana has a lot of good things going for it, and we are glad you are part of it, Mr. Akorli.
Thank you so much, Prince, for having me. Thank you. It's been a really interesting chat. I have enjoyed myself. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the confidence you have in me.
Thank you too, and have a wonderful day, sir.